Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your and our favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. So today in this video, we're going to see about one of the frequently asked question in the group and in the performance testing world for those who are using JMeter. So initially, in terms of parameterizing the data, we do have the config element, which we call it as what is that? The CSV dataset config. So in this one, we do uh, we do not have any options to randomize the script or to use it for particular iteration or uh, I would say an extended version of using the parameters or to settle up the parameters or to give the parameter value. So that's the reason JMeter has the extended CSV dataset config where it is actually giving us several other options. So first let me add it and then first we'll see the difference and then we'll see how to use it. So let me go back. So before we install it, so it does not come by default. So all you have to go to is go to your plugins manager, and if you have not installed it prior in prior, you have to go to your available logins and then you have to search for your extended CSV dataset config. So let me just save it. Sorry, I'm choosing it and then apply changes and restart JMeter. So this will actually install the extended JMeter. I mean, this will get us the extended CSV dataset config. So this is where the JMeter actually stands out because this is something which will definitely help you in your real-time test emulation where you can randomize your script, where you can set up a particular script for a particular data for a particular script. So we'll just see how does it work. And let me open the script group again. And here I have my script where I wanted to explore some values. Going to config element, and at the bottom here you can see the extended, where is that? Yep, extended dataset CSV dataset config. So it's just the extended, that's it. So here you can see it's just CSV dataset config, the original one, and then the next one is the extended CSV dataset config. So let's see the differences and the commonalities. So the first thing is, yes, we do have a file name where we can enter the file name, the file encoding, what type of file encoding do we need, but here by default it has come up with the UTF-8, but we do have UTF-16, we do have ISO, we do have US ASCII as well. And then the variable names, yes, the same thing that we have for the CSV dataset config. Yes, we do have the variable names. Yes, and then they are considering the first line as a variable name. Yep, this is very useful because by default, what happens is we do give the user, for example, it could be username or password, or it could be the PNR number, the account number, or whatever. So normally when we get or when we prepare a test data, we normally have that as my as the header. So let it be. That's fine. But here the difference is in the CSV dataset config, we actually keep it as like ignore first line. So this is something like where we normally use the English to say that I do not understand that, or something like I do not, I don't know that. Something like that, where we are using two negative things. So instead of that, in the extended CSV dataset config, we have clearly given that as consider first line as variable name. Yes, if you want to consider it as a first line variable, line as variable name, yes, then that will ignore it. If you do not want it to consider as a variable name, then you can choose as false. So I mean, in this case, I'm using true, and then that is CSV dataset config. We do have the delimiter. Yes, the same thing. We do have the delimiter, but here they have used the /t for tab. That's not given here, but since I believe we can use that. And then in the CSV dataset config, we have get to see the allow quoted data is set to false. Yes, the same thing is available here. And then the next part. So here we do not have the select next selecting the row. Yep, selecting row is not available in the original CSV dataset config, and updating values is not there, and recycling end of file, which is here when out of values. We do not have the stop thread on. Okay, I think when out of values it is stopping, so that is what the stop thread on end of file. Yes, recycling end of file is not, I think it's not here, because since we do have the other options um, where we can ignore that, or we can redistribute it. And then the sharing mode, yes, the sharing mode is there, that's fine. But yeah, the two things that we got here is the new things which we got here is selecting row, which is either by sequential, random, unique, or updating the values for each iteration or for just once. So you're going to update the values just once. So let's see that how does it work. So firstly let me just choose the sequential and let's run the value. Let me get the notepad file for us to check, and let's see how does it all work. So all these options, I mean every single option that we have. Okay, here I have my file 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let me change this to colon as well. 6, 7, 8. Okay, I think I don't have until I have 7. Let me save this, and it's under JMeter training bin. Okay, fine. Let's go back there. Click on these 3 dots, the same setup. C drive, Apache JMeter, bin drive, and JMeter training. Fab. I think it's a credentials file, right? Yep, that's the credentials.csv. And now we have got the file, and the variable names is going to be username, comma, password. And I'm going to consider my first line as a variable name, so I'm setting it up as true. The delimiter is colon because, sorry, semicolon, because I have used semicolon as a delimiter. So I'm going to choose colon, semicolon. And now I'm going to use the selector row as sequential. And let's see how does it work. And I'm going to update the value for each iteration, right? So let's save this. And let me come to the file where I wanted to change this login. So percentage open username dollar password. Yep, that's done. Let me save it, clear everything. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try with like 7 iterations, and let's see how does it work. So I'm going to use one user, 7 iterations, run it over an existing file, view results tree. And all I want to see is what does it happens in the fourth transactions, right? Fourth transactions, how does it work? Okay, I get to see some errors. Let me disable this for some reason because it's not working. Let's see what has happened. So everything is fine. Save it, clear everything, run it. What existing file? Yep, so it works. So if you do have a CSV dataset config without any files, yes, it will block. So this is learning today. And going to the fourth one, response data, click on the request, click on this one. Yep, I'm passing the value 1, 1. Yes. Same thing happens for the other response as well. Yep, 2 and 2. So this is for the sequential. So your values are getting sequentially updated. So now what I will do is let me go to the extended CSV and I'm going to update the value just once. So let's see what happens. I've chosen sequential, but I have chosen update the values as 1. Clear everything, run it, or existing file, go to the view results tree. The first one, let's see what happens. So here I get to see 1 and 1. And then the next one where I get to see again it is 1 and 1. So even though, just remember, even though you have selected the row as sequential, you are picking the value as sequential, but you are updating the value just once, right? So the next thing which I'll show you here is if I'm choosing one iteration or one loop, but if I'm choosing 2 users, let's see what happens. Okay, let's choose okay, for now let's choose 2 users with 1 iteration and let's see what happens. Already existing file, go to the view results tree and going to the first one, you get to see 1 and 1. Yep, that's fine. And for the second user, you get to see 1 and 1, right? So still it is once. What I'll do now is I'll go to the thread group. I'll change the iteration to 2. So now let's see what happens. I'm applying it. So now we have got the first user's first iteration and now the second user's first iteration. And okay, I think there should be, okay, second user, second iteration. There must be another 4 somewhere here. The first user's first iteration. Here we have got the second user, second iteration. So everywhere, every single thing, even though you're using multiple iterations, even though you're using multiple users, if you are using it as once, it is going to be just once. So be very careful while you're selecting this once thing. And now we'll move on to the second part. I'm choosing random for each iteration, and let's see how does it work over an existing file. And let me go to the view results tree. What is the first one? I've got 1 and 1. Yep, cool. The second one is going to be again 1 1. Okay, fine. The third one, what does happen? What does it happen? Okay, again it shows 1 and 1. And here it shows 3. Okay, so the random, even in the random, and since we have got very less values, we get to see 3 ones and 1 3. So that's how the random thing works. So all we did is we have selected the row as random, and we have chosen as each iteration. So let's try the ones and let's see how does it work. Just to understand how does it work even with the random part. So we go into the view results tree, clicking on the fourth one, we get to see 3. Okay, and the fourth one, the next one, we get to see 7, and the next thing we get to see 3 again, and we get to see 7. Okay, so what happened here is it has chosen 3 as the random value, and then it has started updating it, stopped updating, sorry. So since okay, it happens like this. Okay, the very first user has chosen 3, and for the next user, or for the next iteration, it is again still 3. The second user chosen 7, and for the second iteration it is chosen as 7. So the lesson that we have learned here is when you choose random, okay, it will choose the random value for the first time, and then it will keep the same value for its all the iterations. So if you want to keep something like unique for a particular user, okay, this random will actually help you, because once you've chosen some value, that value will not be okay. Okay, once you've chosen something of a random value, then that value cannot be shared with other users, because you're going to update the values just once. Okay, so if you have like 10 users and all those 10 users have to have a separate login credentials, and they don't want to confuse it, so you can choose once, and that will actually help you to keep that same values all the time, right? So I believe you could understand it. Then the unique one. So when you choose unique, you get to see another option, which is allocate values to the thread, and automatically allocate block of threads. So I can allocate few blocks of thread to it. So for now, what I'll do is let me choose the automatically allocate block of threads. So now I have chosen the select row as unique, and let's try how does it work. And I'll choose each iteration, and click clear, and let's start the running execution. And coming to the view results tree, yep, the first one. uh, get to see 1 and 1. That's fine. I think it looks like it started sequentially at the first value. The next one is going to be 5. Okay, this looks something like a random value. And then, okay, again, it has selected 2. And then I've got to get 6. So what did I choose is I've chosen unique for each iteration. So when I say unique for each iteration, what happens is it actually chooses some completely different values. So something like a unique value, but it's something like it is selecting different values each time. So that's the difference. So when it says unique, it's going to be different values each time. And let's choose once, and let's see how does it work. Clicking on clear, everything is fine. Override existing file. The fourth one, the first thing is 1. That's fine. And for the second user, it's going to be 5. Okay, and there is another iteration here. It's 1 again. There is another iteration, and it's 5. So the first user has chosen 1, the unique value, and the second user has chosen 5. So the same thing has been iterated the second time. So it's just 1 1 5 and 5, right? So I believe you could have understood by now that we have got different values. So let me actually create an Excel sheet, and I will just explain it to you clearly with the different combinations, right? So what did we do? Um, Excel sheet here. So what is the first option we have? That is sequential, right? So we do have sequential. So this sheet will actually help you to understand how does it work. So sequential and each iteration. So let me choose it. So sequential and each iteration. And in this case, we do have, just to let you know, we do have like 2 users and 2 iterations. Okay, and let me run it. So sequential over an existing file. So we do have sequential for each iteration. And coming to the view results tree. So the first thing is 1. And then how do we get this value? 1, 1, 2, and 2. Okay, so how did we get this? 1, 1, 2, and 2, right? And now sequential, sorry, sequential and once, right? And let's see how does it work. So let me go back here, sequential once, save it, clear everything, run it over the existing file. Coming to the view results tree, it's going to be 1 for the first user. For the second user, it's again 1, and for the first user, second iteration, it's again 1. For second user, again it's going to be 1. So it did work like 1, 1, 1, 1. So this is first user, second user, again first user, and second user. So this is how it works. So when it comes to sequential and just once, it's going to be, let me get this one. So all it is coming like this. So first user, so all the users, every single user will have the same values. Even let's try with few more third groups. Like let me add like 7, right? Let's see. Let's just to see how does it work. For the existing file, view results tree. All I want to see is for the fourth one. The problem here is when you have like multiple iterations, we can't see the entire one. Yeah, in fact, I have even come up with the value to fix it. But for now, yes, it's going to be 1 all the way. Yep, I think it's 1 all the way. It's 1, 1, 1 everywhere. For the first user, yep, it's 1 always. So there is no, nothing has changed. Okay, fine. So let's ignore that. Okay, for fine. So let's go to the second option. So it's going to be random and each iteration. So let me choose it here. Random, each iteration. And we're going to see for the first user and second user, the same thing here. But it's going to be random and once, right? And go to the third group. Let me change it to 2. Save it, clear everything, run it. So what did I choose is I've chosen random and each iteration. So we have to see what values does it come here. So for the first user, it is 6. Okay, 6. That's fine. It's interesting. And for the second user of a second iteration, it's 5. It's 5 here. That should be another one somewhere here. Okay, fine. That's no problem. And then for the first user again, it's going to be 7. And then here it is 6, right? So it does look random for each iteration. And now let's choose once and let's see how does it work. Save it, clear everything, run it. Yep, now it is 3, 3, 3, and unfortunately it should be 3, I believe. Anyways, let's confirm that. Yep, it's 3 all the way. So once the first value is chosen, it's the same thing everywhere, every single place, right? And then the next thing is the last option, which is the unique, right? So let's try the unique thing, unique. And for each iteration, unique for once. So sorry, unique and once. So because most of us will have this question, what happens when this with this particular combination, right? Okay, I've chosen unique and let me choose each iteration, clear everything, run it, or existing file, view results tree. For the first thing, we have got 1. Okay, that's cool. For the second user, We get to see 5. Okay, now it is 1, 5, 6. There should be one more. Where is that? Okay, it's 1, 5, 2, 6. It's quite different. So it's going to be 1, 5, 2, and 6. So when it comes to unique, we are choosing it completely unique way. For each iteration, it is again unique, right? Let me save it, clear everything, and the last one, which is sorry, which is once. Clear everything, run it, and let's see how does it work for unique and once. Meanwhile, I'll just copy this, paste it here. For the first user, what did we get? We get 1. That's cool. And for the second user, for the second, okay, it's going to be 5. Okay, so it's 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. It's again going to be 5. Got it. So it is 1, 5, 1. Sorry, 5. So this is how it works, and this is how it's going to be working for any number of users that you're going to use. For your testing, extended CSV dataset config works in this manner. And yeah, again, you know about continuous cyclic, continue the last value about thread. I think I don't want to explain that for you. Your little subscribers, you know better than me. So when you do continuous cyclic, it's going to be coming again from the beginning first, and then if you're going to continue the last value, so once you reach the last value, it's going to continue with that same value, and once you're clicking about 30, it's going to stop your execution. So that's how it works. I think I have explained you a lot. This file will be available in github.com. Okay, let me even update that file for you. I don't want to keep you waiting, or I don't want you people to wait for me. Let me save this before that. Save in my desktop. Save it. Okay, sorry. Let me just save it again quickly. Uh, 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 Running materials. Let me save it. Okay, I got it. Fine. CSV. So it's going to be, I have to, okay. That should be fine, right? Excel workbook. Save. Okay. Let me get it for you. So if you want to find anything, okay, in terms of your learning, uh, HTML. Okay, so not this one as well. I think, okay, JMeter test. Go to this JMeter test, and I have kept all these files for you here. Go to add file. I'm going to upload the files. Let me get it for you. And training materials. Yep. Let me just confirm the file name. It's book one. Yep. So yep, here is the file for you. If you want to test it, if you want to try it, if you want to confirm these things, just come to this location, github.com, Vasan Shanmugam, and under the JMeter test repo, you can get to see this, and all most of these files were already here. So if you want to select any of them, you can just very well do this. I have kept all the CSV files, all the test files, everything is here. Please do check that. Please do try it. And yeah, with that, I come to the end of this video. So until I see you all in our next video, it's bye bye from us, and your favorite Little Sla YouTube channel. Take care and bye bye.